You've heard of Winston Churchill, the man who led Britain through its darkest hour. But what if I told you one secret meeting he held changed the course of world history forever, and almost no one knew it happened? It was August 9th, 1941. The world was at war, and Britain was on its knees. Cities lay in ruins, supplies were running out, and German bombers ruled the skies. Winston Churchill knew that if help didn't come soon, Britain would fall. And with it, the world's last hope against Hitler. So, in the middle of that chaos, Churchill made a bold decision. He boarded a massive British battleship, the HMS Prince of Wales, and set sail into the freezing waters of the North Atlantic. His mission was secret. Almost no one in his government even knew. He was going to meet a man who could change everything. The President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt. At that time, America wasn't in the war. They had promised neutrality. But Churchill knew the truth. Without American support, there was no victory. So for 2 tense days, their ships floated side by side, hidden by fog and guarded by the ocean. Churchill and Roosevelt met face to face for the very first time. No reporters, no photographs, no grand announcements. Just 2 men, sitting over maps and cigars, talking about the future of the free world. Churchill's voice trembled with exhaustion, but his words carried the weight of millions. He didn't just want weapons, he wanted partnership, trust, and hope. Out of those late-night talks came a document that would rewrite the future, the Atlantic Charter. It had only 8 simple points, but its message was powerful. It spoke of freedom, democracy, trade, and the right of every nation to choose its own destiny. It was, in essence, a promise that after the war, the world would be rebuilt on justice, not conquest. That charter became the foundation of what would later become the United Nations and NATO. It inspired independence movements across the globe, including in colonies like India. Ironically, as Churchill signed a document that promised freedom for all nations, his own empire was still holding millions under British rule. It was a contradiction history never forgot, and one that defined his complex legacy. But that meeting did more than shape ideals. It quietly forged an alliance. 4 months later, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. America entered the war, standing shoulder to shoulder with Britain, and together, they turned the tide of history. Think about that. 2 men in the middle of an ocean, surrounded by war and uncertainty, decided the fate of the modern world. From that secret handshake came the fall of the Axis, the birth of the United Nations, and the world order we live in today. Sometimes, history doesn't change on battlefields or in grand speeches. It changes in whispered conversations, in hidden rooms, or on a lonely ship surrounded by the sea. And that's what makes this story so haunting, because it reminds us that the smallest decisions can change the destiny of billions. If this story fascinated you, hit like, share it with someone who loves history, and subscribe because there are still secrets from the past waiting to be uncovered.